Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books. Let's get started. Today we're taking a deep dive into Grady Hendrix's Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, a novel set in the 1960s. It's a compelling tale, around a home for unwed mothers in Florida.
It really is a fascinating exploration of societal pressures, female relationships, and that search for identity in a world that really tries to define you, all through the lens of, well, magic and mystery.
Right, so the story starts with Neva, a pregnant teenager
Yeah.
from Alabama, and her life is falling apart. She's sent to Wellwood House, this seemingly idyllic home for unwed mothers. But her journey there already hints at the darker reality. What's with that sign, "Welcome to Florida, the Sunshine State"? It's almost cruel considering her situation.
Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? I mean, Hendrix uses that sign to really highlight the stark contrast between the sunny facade of Florida and the dark reality that Neva and so many girls like her are facing. This world where unwed mothers are met with such judgment and just limited choices.
And that oppressive atmosphere, oh, it gets even more palpable when she arrives at Wellwood House. Miss Wellwood, the head mistress, rules with an iron fist. And Dr. Vincent O., the physician, he just sends chills down your spine. He's definitely not there for, warm hugs and comforting
The
words.
strict rules, the constant scrutiny, the floral nicknames, like Fern, Rose, and Daisy, that replace their real names, it all contributes to this sense of dehumanization, right?
Yeah.
These girls aren't seen as individuals, the problems to be solved, and their identities are just stripped away.
And it's heartbreaking to see how those societal views, how they're woven into the narrative. Hendrix includes snippets from magazines and even articles from that time. It's reflecting those prevailing attitudes towards unwed mothers. It's a constant reminder of the judgment they faced.
They provide a powerful historical and cultural context, don't they? I mean, they really allow us to step back in time and understand the immense pressure these girls were under.
We meet this diverse group of girls, each with their own story, their own pain, and their own way of coping. There's Fern, the bookworm, who seems to be at the heart of the story. But we have Rose, the rebel, and Daisy, the beagle enthusiast.
Each of these girls, they carry a unique burden, a secret shame that led them to Wellwood. And they're all just trying to navigate this difficult situation, yearning for normalcy, but also grappling with the reality of their pregnancies.
Fern's internal struggle, oh, it's especially poignant. She desperately wants her old life back, but she's constantly confronted with the consequences of her actions. We see her interact with Diane, the social worker who pushes for surrender, painting this rosy picture of a normal life, but without the baby.
It's a tempting proposition for someone like Fern, especially when she stumbles upon a book called Groovy Witch in the common room, the Kong as they call it. That book, it sparks her curiosity. It becomes a symbol of rebellion, a way for her and the other girls to reclaim some agency, in a situation where they feel powerless.
The book seems to act as a catalyst for their exploration of witchcraft, doesn't it? And despite their differences, the girls at Wellwood, they form a strong bond. They find solace and a sense of belonging in each other that the outside world denies them.
Shared experiences, especially traumatic ones, create a unique kind of intimacy. It's no surprise that they turn to each other for support and understanding.
And their shared experiences, they lead them to experiment with witchcraft. Like that scene where they perform the egg ritual, trying to draw their fears and anxieties into the egg. It's a powerful image, and it speaks to their desperation to find some control over their situation.
It's almost like a form of therapy, a way to externalize their inner turmoil. They're grasping at straws, trying anything to alleviate the pressure and fear they're constantly facing.
They even try to use witchcraft to make Dr. Vincent sick, which, to their surprise, actually works. But their little victory, well, it's short-lived. The harsh reality of their situation, it comes crashing down when Myrtle, one of the girls, has a truly tragic experience. It's a wake-up call that shatters any illusion of safety or protection within Wellwood House.
Myrtle's story, it's a turning point in the novel. It exposes the vulnerability of these girls and the fact that the adults, the ones who are supposed to be caring for them, aren't necessarily acting in their best interests. It's a stark reminder of the limited choices available to them.
The chapter titled 28 Weeks, it's a powerful reminder of the ticking clock, of their pregnancies. Their time is running out, and the pressure is mounting. And it's during this heightened tension that Zinnia arrives, a black girl who faces another layer of prejudice and mistreatment.
Zinnia's arrival, it adds a new dimension to the story, highlighting the intersectionality of oppression. She's not only grappling with the stigma of being an unwed mother, but also facing the harsh realities of racism. in the 1960s South. Her experiences, they shed light on the systemic injustices that permeate society.
Her presence disrupts the status quo at Wellwood House,
Wow.
forcing the other girls to confront the complexities of race and social injustice, adding a whole other layer of tension to the narrative.
Mhm.
But before we dive into that, I think it's time we hear Rose's backstory. Talk about a gut punch. Her story just highlights how easily young women could be manipulated and exploited.
Rose's experience with Carlton Sinclair III, the wealthy boy who took advantage of her and then abandoned her, is a stark reminder of the power dynamics at play during that era. Her story is a testament to the silencing and disregard that many young women faced, particularly those from marginalized backgrounds.
Her arrival at Wellwood House, it coincides with this amazing event. The arrival of the bookmobile. It feels almost symbolic, like a beacon of hope and knowledge amidst the darkness and oppression.
The bookmobile, driven by the enigmatic Miss Parsay, brings an air of mystery and magic to Wellwood. She becomes a key figure in the girls' lives, particularly for Fern and Rose, who are drawn to her knowledge of witchcraft.
It's through the bookmobile that they rediscover Groovy Witch. And their interest in witchcraft, it takes a more serious turn. Miss Parquet becomes a mentor of sorts, guiding them through the world of spells and rituals. It's like they've been given a tool, a way to access power, an agency they never knew they had.
It's a fascinating dynamic, isn't it? On the one hand, they are drawn to the power and the possibilities that witchcraft offers. But on the other hand, there's this sense of danger, a lurking darkness that hints at the potential consequences.
And those consequences become all too real when they decide to do a ritual to help Polly escape the abuse of Reverend Cherry. Their intentions are pure, but their actions have unintended consequences, leading to the, infamous Blackfly attack. That scene, that was straight out of a horror movie.
The Blackflies, they represent the dark side of magic, the price you pay for meddling with forces you don't fully understand. It's a turning point in this story, where the girls realize that witchcraft, it's not just about fun and games. It has real power and real dangers.
The attack leaves them shaken and questioning their involvement with witchcraft. And then Rose, she makes a heartbreaking decision.
Yeah.
Driven by fear and desperation, she surrenders her baby, a choice that has a ripple effect on the other girls, especially Fern.
Rose's surrender is a pivotal moment. It highlights the emotional toll that Wellwood House is taking on these girls. I mean, seeing the locked ward of the hospital, where Rose's baby is taken, it terrifies Fern, solidifying her fear of losing control and the ever-present threat of the system.
Amidst all this turmoil, the tension builds, and then boom, a storm hits. And it's not just any storm, it's a symbolic representation of the chaos and upheaval in their lives, mirroring the emotional turmoil they're experiencing.
The storm becomes a catalyst for a series of dramatic events. It's a force of nature that disrupts the carefully constructed order of Wellwood House, and it forces the girls to confront their deepest fears and make life-altering decisions.
It's a wild scene, with stones falling from the sky, Wellwood House being practically destroyed, and Hagar, the housekeeper, desperately trying to protect the girls. It's during this chaos that Fern decides to help Polly escape, putting her own desire for a normal life aside.
Fern's choice, it's a defining moment. For her character, it showcases her courage and loyalty, her willingness to prioritize the well-being of her friend over her own safety and comfort. It's a testament to the power of their bond and the lengths they'll go to protect each other.
They escape the hospital during the storm and end up performing a final ritual with the witches in the woods. It's a climactic scene full of magic and danger and uncertainty. But before we delve into that, I think we need to pause here and explore the events leading up to that final ritual.
It's a journey filled with twists and turns, revelations and betrayals, and it all culminates in a confrontation with the forces that have been controlling their lives, a battle for freedom and self-determination. So Fern and Rose, they're committed to helping Holly escape, from Reverend Jerry, but they need Zinnia's help to perform the ritual.
And Zinnia, she's hesitant at first. Remember, she's like the voice of reason. Skeptical of the whole witchcraft thing, especially after that Blackfly attack.
Yeah, she's cautious, understandably so. But Rose, I mean, she's fueled by her own desperation, right?
Yeah.
And this need to prove that witchcraft is real, so she convinces Zinnia to participate.
So they embark on this clandestine mission, sneaking out to meet Miss Parsay in the woods. It's here that the story takes this really fascinating turn.
Their meeting with Miss Parsay and her coven, it unveils this deeper layer to the narrative. We're introduced to the history of witches, the persecution they've faced, and the power they wield.
Miss Parsay, she shares this chilling story about, women being accused of witchcraft simply because they were women.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder of how fear and prejudice have been used throughout history to control and silence those who are perceived as different.
And it resonates with the girls' own experiences at Wellwood House, right? I mean, they've been labeled as wayward,
Yeah.
ostracized, stripped of their identities.
And in Miss Parsay, they see this powerful figure who has embraced her heritage and defied societal norms. It's both inspiring and a bit intimidating.
She embodies a lineage of strong women who have harnessed their power
Well,
and fought against oppression. It's an alluring prospect for Fern and Rose, especially in their current situation.
but of course, with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
Miss Parsay, she makes it clear that their involvement in the ritual, it requires commitment, a pledge of allegiance to her coven.
And this is where Fern, she starts to hesitate. Remember, she's seen what witchcraft has done to Rose, who's become, increasingly erratic and reckless.
Rose's desperation to cling to the power of witchcraft
Yeah.
after, losing her daughter, it's almost palpable, isn't it? It's like she's searching for something to fill the void, a way to regain control.
And that's the danger that Fern recognizes. She's drawn to the sense of belonging, the purpose that Miss Parsay offers, but she's also wary of those potential consequences.
Despite her reservations, their need to help Holly, it overrides her fear. They go through with the ritual, and as we know, things go terribly wrong.
The Blackfly attack, it's a brutal reminder that magic can be unpredictable and dangerous. It shakes Fern to her core, and she starts to question everything, her commitment to the witches, her promise to help Holly.
It's in the aftermath of this attack that Rose, in a moment of pure anger and desperation, poisons Miss Wellwood's coffee.
It's a reckless act, a cry for help from a girl who feels betrayed and abandoned by the very people who were supposed to protect her.
This act, it sets off this chain reaction.
Yeah.
And as if mirroring the turmoil within Wellwood House, this huge storm, it descends upon them.
The storm, it becomes a catalyst for chaos and destruction. It's a force of nature that reflects the emotional turmoil the girls are experiencing and the dark secrets that are about to be exposed.
It's terrifying. Stones are falling from the sky. The windows are shattering. The girls they're running for their lives.
Hendrix's description of the storm, it's so visceral, almost apocalyptic. It's as if the very foundations of Wellwood House are crumbling under the weight of its secrets.
Amidst this chaos, Rose is taken to the hospital to deliver her baby. It's another turning point in the story.
Rose's departure for the hospital, it's like a descent into a personal hell. She endures this traumatic experience, and when she returns, she's changed, broken, defeated, consumed by rage.
While Rose is gone, the girls discover this shocking truth. Miss Parsay, she's been watching them practice witchcraft, observing them from the pages of her magical book.
This revelation, it adds a layer of complexity to their relationship with Miss Parsay. That seems she's not simply a benevolent mentor. She has her own agenda, her own reasons for seeking them out.
It turns out Miss Parsay is dying, and she needs to pass on her powers to a new generation of witches. This concept of lineage and legacy becomes central to the narrative.
It's a compelling idea, the passing of the torch, so to speak. These young women who have been marginalized, silenced, they're being offered this chance to inherit a powerful legacy, a connection to a long line of strong, defiant women.
But Fern, she's torn. She's seen what witchcraft has done to Rose, and she's terrified of what it might cost her.
Her fear is understandable. She's caught between the allure of power and belonging and the fear of losing herself in the process. It's a classic struggle between good and evil, light and darkness.
Just as Fern is grappling with this dilemma, Hagar, the housekeeper, stumbles upon this shocking discovery. That throws everything into further disarray. Miss Wellwood is pregnant.
This revelation, it's chilling, it's unnatural, unsettling, and it's a clear sign that something sinister is at play within the walls of Wellwood House.
Hagar, sensing the presence of dark forces, she calls upon her sister, Miriam, who also has experience with witchcraft.
Hagar, Miriam, they represent a different kind of power, a power rooted in tradition, folk wisdom, and a deep understanding of the supernatural world. They become unlikely allies for the girls, protectors against the evil that's threatening to consume them.
They try to help Miss Wellwood,
Yeah.
but it becomes clear that whatever is happening is beyond their control. The descriptions of Miss Wellwood's labor, they're gruesome Terrifying.
It's a monstrous birth, a violation of nature that suggests a demonic presence has infiltrated Wellwood House. The scene is a culmination of all the negative energy, the societal pressures, the secrets and lies that have been festering within those walls.
Amidst this terrifying ordeal, Fern and Holly, they're preparing to escape with the witches, seeking refuge from the chaos and danger that surrounds them.
Yeah. This escape, it becomes their last chance at freedom. A desperate attempt to break free from the constraints of Wellwood House and the expectations of a world that has rejected them.
But their path to freedom, it's fraught with danger. They face opposition from the authorities, the adults at Wellwood House, and even the forces of nature itself.
Their attempt to summon the storm, to aid their escape, it's a pivotal moment. It's a test of their will, their commitment to each other, and their willingness to embrace the power they've been given.
And as we know, things don't go exactly as planned.
The storm, it just rages on, right? Mirroring that internal chaos and the escalating danger. Fern, she knows she needs to reach Holly, who's in labor now, before it's too late.
It's a race against time with the elements themselves, like conspiring against them. And then there's Nurse Kent, this formidable obstacle, standing between Fern and her friend.
Nurse Kent, she really embodies that rigid, unyielding authority of Wellwood House, determined to maintain control and enforce the rules no matter what, even amidst all this chaos.
Their confrontation, it's so tense.
Yeah.
But just when it seems like all hope is lost, Hagar and Miriam, they arrive. Spirits of defiance and compassion in the storm's fury.
It's this moment of unexpected intervention,
Right.
A testament to the power of sisterhood and the lengths these women will go to protect the vulnerable.
They whisk Holly away, not to the sterile confines of the hospital, but to a secret location, like a sanctuary where she can give birth safely and freely.
Hagar and Miriam, they understand that the hospital, it represents another form of confinement, another system that seeks to control and dictate the lives of these girls. Their decision to create a safe space outside of that system, it's both brave and deeply symbolic.
While Holly is being taken care of, Fern, she finds herself trapped at Wellwood House. Her desperation just grows with each passing moment. She needs to reach Holly. But the storm has turned the familiar into this treacherous labyrinth.
The storm, it serves as this powerful metaphor throughout the novel,
Right.
Representing those uncontrollable forces that shape their lives, the internal and external turmoil that threatens to consume them.
And amidst this maelstrom, Fern, she encounters Miss Parcay, who's waiting for her. A beacon of this enigmatic power in the heart of the storm.
This is the moment of truth for Fern. She's faced with a choice: embrace her destiny as a witch, with all its inherent risks and rewards, or cling to the fading hope of a normal life, a life that seems increasingly impossible.
The decision, it weighs so heavily on her, this choice that will define her future. And in a moment of unwavering loyalty and courage, she chooses Holly, choosing the bond of friendship over the allure of self-preservation.
Her decision, it's a testament to the strength of female bonds, the unwavering support and love that can blossom even in the most adverse circumstances. It's a powerful message about the importance of connection and the courage to defy expectations.
But despite her valiant effort, it's too late. By the time she reaches the sanctuary, Holly, she has vanished, taken away by the witches, leaving Fern to grapple with the crushing weight of loss and uncertainty.
The disappearance of Holly, it's a heartbreaking twist, a stark reminder that even in the face of immense courage and sacrifice, there are some forces beyond our control. It leaves Fern with this profound sense of loss and this lingering question about the true nature of the witch's intentions.
The storm subsides, leaving behind a trail of destruction and unanswered questions. Fern, injured and heartbroken, is taken back to Wellwood House. Her dreams of escape and a new life, they're shattered.
It's a poignant reminder that the journey to freedom, it's rarely straightforward. There are setbacks, betrayals, and moments of despair that test our resilience and challenge our beliefs.
The story, it jumps ahead to the present day, where we find Fern grappling with the ghosts of her past, the weight of her experiences at Wellwood House, and the choices she made. They continue to shape her life.
The time jump, it allows Hendrix to explore the long-lasting impact of trauma and the complex ways in which the past can continue to haunt us. It's a reminder that healing is a journey, not a destination.
And then, in a twist of fate, she receives a call from Charlie, the daughter she gave up all those years ago, a daughter she thought she'd never know. Talk about a whirlwind of emotions.
That phone call, it's a catalyst for Fern's journey of self-discovery and reconciliation. It forces her to confront the buried pain and shame of her past, to acknowledge the choices she made and the consequences that rippled through the years.
Overwhelmed with guilt and a yearning to connect with her daughter, she reunites with Rose. And together they delve into their shared past, revisiting the trauma and the triumphs of their time at Wellwood House.
Their reunion is a powerful testament to the enduring nature of female friendships. It's a space of shared understanding and support, a place where they can process their experiences and begin to heal the wounds of the past.
Rose, still grappling with the pain of losing her own daughter, Blossom, she reveals that she's never forgiven herself for making that choice, a choice made under duress and fueled by fear.
Rose's ongoing struggle, it highlights the complexity of motherhood and the lasting impact of societal pressures. Her journey is a stark reminder that even years later, the echoes of those choices, they can continue to reverberate through our lives.
Driven by a need to explain her actions and bridge the gap between herself and her daughter, Fern decides to write a letter to Charlie, pouring her heart out on paper, sharing the truth about her time at Wellwood House and the circumstances surrounding Charlie's birth.
The letter, it's an act of bravery, a way for Fern to reclaim her narrative and offer an honest account of her past. It's a step towards healing, a way to break the cycle of silence and shame that has haunted her for so long.
The book, it ends with Fern waiting for Charlie's call, filled with a mix of anticipation and trepidation, hoping for understanding, for connection, for a chance to forge a new relationship with the daughter she never knew.
The open ending, it leaves us with a sense of hope, a glimmer of possibility for reconciliation and healing. It suggests that even in the face of immense hardship and loss, there's always a chance for redemption, for forging new connections, and for creating a future where the mistakes of the past can be acknowledged and forgiven.
Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, it's more than just a supernatural thriller. It's a story about female resilience, the complexities of motherhood, and the enduring power of friendship. It's a book that stays with you long after you turn the final page.
Hendrix, he masterfully blends historical fiction, coming-of-age drama, and elements of magical realism to create this captivating narrative that explores themes of societal injustice, female empowerment, and the search for identity in a world that often seeks to define us.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word.